Oh, I just messed up my intro, so I'm doing it again. Hi guys, welcome to episode 2 of the second series of the Tez Talks Q&A. Let's jump right in. Whew, that's a tough one. I have not had to deal with this myself. But I do deal with very different beliefs with my family. So, as a lot of you know, I grew up a very strict Catholic. My mum is still very Catholic. She goes to church multiple times a week. She goes to the Latin Mass. She's very dedicated to her Catholicism. I think that in a romantic relationship, it's really challenging. I think in terms of family, you can choose not to talk about it. It's something that you can say, hey, let's put up a boundary and let's just not go there. The same way a lot of people say, let's stay away from politics, let's stay away from religion. In a romantic relationship, I think it's really hard because to have a loving, authentic relationship with your partner, you want to be able to talk about absolutely everything. So I think there's going to have to be a little bit of flexibility there on both your ends. And I think that it would be on you to really research and find out and ask questions and really get deep into what it is they believe in. And even if you have a very different perspective and you don't believe the same things, honoring and holding the space for them to have their own beliefs is going to be integral for long-term happiness in that relationship. So I think it's a really generous thing to understand their beliefs, to really understand them, to respect their beliefs, even if you have completely different ones. And I would hope that that would be vice versa, that they really get to know what it is you believe in. You talk about it openly and honestly without the need to try and change each other's perspective. That is going to be a really big point of conflict in your relationship if you start to try and what's that? I think I have some guys working in the house. If you try and start to change their mind about their beliefs, that's where the conflict's gonna arise. So if it's the sort of relationship where you want to continue on and you see a long-term future for yourself, I think you either A, have to put a boundary in place which says, hey, I love you, I hear you, we have a difference of opinion, I respect your beliefs, please respect my beliefs, and let's not debate on it. We believe in different things, and that's okay. So this is completely different, but Mark and I do not have the same taste in music. He is really big into R&B, and it was like a very cultural thing for him growing up, and he's like just a big R&B guy. And I am not an R&B girl at all. But I respect that that's his culture and what he believes in. There was music he grew up listening to. I prefer to listen to, 90s rap or Enya or Moby, things like that. So we just find a happy medium where we're in the car, we choose a podcast that we both love. So if you can find a place of firstly acceptance, but a happy medium, let's say you both really believe in some elements of the Buddhist faith, meeting people with love and compassion, causing no suffering to any sentient beings, then maybe you could sit in the car and listen to a podcast about meditation. Or Eckhart Tolle, who does not define himself by any kind of religion, he's just this amazing speaker. Maybe listening to his works is something where you can connect on a spiritual level. Try and find some common ground. If not, keep the boundary there, be respectful, understand their beliefs, and then let it go. I started my natural living, and my interest in that area, I would say in about 2011. To me, I guess it correlates with growing up. I would have been, I think maybe 26 in 2011. And I was just getting a bit older, and I was in a place where I wasn't feeling completely fulfilled by just being an actor. I loved the opportunities I was having. I was enjoying work, but there was something missing. I needed some more substance. I needed something there. And I also that year started going through a really challenging time in my life in terms of the relationship I was in. And I was recognizing that I was not in a healthy relationship. And I could look at the patterns that I was just sitting in. And it was almost like an out-of-body experience. I could see that I wasn't making smart choices, healthy choices. I wasn't making choices that served my soul. And I knew it was coming out of a fear-based place. I knew I was fearful of being alone. And it's something that I really had to take a look at. And it wasn't until I left that relationship that the growth really started to happen. And I became this blossomed flower because I was alone, because I had the time to reflect back on all of these habitual patterns and start to get beneath the reasons why I was making the choices I was making in my life. And it was through finding spirituality that I realized that I had been trying to fill a void within me with all external things, my career, a boyfriend, even making money, like having a job. I had suddenly had this clarity, and it took me leaning into this dark, scary, fearful place to find the light. Once I had that clarity, I knew that moving forward in every aspect of my life, I had to ground it in something that was meaningful to me. And that was sourcing happiness from an internal place and sitting in a spirituality that really fed my soul. And once I started doing that, not only did my life open up in a way I never expected, I just felt calm. I felt at peace. I felt that I was enough, and I wasn't reaching and striving for all these external things. I was just being. And then my husband came into my life. The music. Then my husband came into my life, and then obviously my beautiful son, and Your Zen Life community, Your Zen Mama community, and everything started falling into place naturally. And I think it was because I was vibrating on such a high level at this point. The guys work in my house, they play this music, which is really sweet. Can you hear it? Anyway, so yeah, that was kind of it. 2011 was a turning point for me. And once I decided to do it, I did it with 100% of me, and it completely changed my life in the most beautiful, beautiful way. And now I'm so excited because I can connect with you guys in this real way, and we're all on this journey, and we're trying to uplift each other, and we're trying to encourage one another to just live our best lives, because everyone has it in them. It's just about making that choice and then jumping in. So yeah, that's that answer. So guys, just so you know, we have some background music going on. The guy who's working on my house and his workers, they're all they're listening to this music outside because they're on the side of my house sanding right now and repainting, because our house, the wood was starting to chip apart, so they're resanding. So now we have a soundtrack to the Tez Talks. Okay, meditation. Here's the funny thing. I don't meditate that much, guys. I think there's a misconception that I'm this meditation guru. I don't meditate that much. Well, here's the thing. Meditation has so many different definitions. My version of meditation, the one that works for me, is actually lying down and just taking basically a personal inventory and scanning my body and like feeling where I'm holding tension and feeling where my emotions are and trying to like breathe light into that. I think about breathing white light into those areas. Like really like clenching everything and then releasing different parts of my body. That is my form of meditation, but I probably only do it maybe 2 or 3 times a week. So there are other people who can sit and meditate for hours and clear their mind. For me, like meditation is just my spiritual life, like taking a moment to be silent, even going on a walk, a silent walk, a hike on my own. That's meditation. Walking outside, taking a moment, being present. Another thing I do is I sit in the car with my son Bodhi, and we do mindful time, which means we drive and we don't have any music on, we don't listen to podcasts, and we just listen. We just listen to outside noises, and we'll listen. Usually we can last maybe 2 minutes without him wanting to engage. And we'll talk about some of the sounds we heard. So truly for me, meditation is about like getting present. So that they are some of the ways in which I do it. I like to smell essential oils when I do it. So right now, my favorite scent is this Dr. Schul's Air Detox. So I'll spray it on my pillow. Bodhi will be asleep. I'll close my eyes, put my eye mask on, and just lie there. Smell this like beautiful, refreshing smell. It's sort of a mixture of like eucalyptus, lime, and lemon. And then just like breathe, do some deep breathing and listen to my body and allow for thoughts to come in and to move out again, not to judge anything, just being. And that's my form of meditation, and it truly is recharging. If you feel tired, if you have 5 minutes, you're at work, you can run to the car, lie your seat back, have it, listening to like rainforest music. I think the music's gone louder. Woo woo. Also finding a book that you connect with, that for me puts me in a meditative state. So I have this book here that I just pulled out because this is my Zen Den, the room that we're in. You can kind of see. I'll show you. Like, oh, that's Cassandra. She's our manager. Hello. I've got like books and like Buddhist stuff over there. So I sit in this room and I read a book. One of the books I pulled off the shelf was The 4 Agreements. It's so beautiful. Okay, so I'll tell you, like the 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, always do your best. So obviously this book gets into all of those elements, but it's about getting rid of these self-limiting beliefs. And it's amazing. Like, this is a meditation in and of itself. I think we actually sell this in the shop on Your Zen Life. But yeah, I think finding those books and just committing to just starting a meditation process, and without having to define it, just whatever it is, and it will evolve. So yeah, that is that, and we are out of time. So I will see you next time. Okay, bye.